I'm Ali, and I'm a football coach, aka Coach Ali. So before I get into the nuts and bolts of my talk, I just wanted to do a little bit about me. That is actually me. At about 4 or 5 years old, football is my first love. My other love is dresses. If I hadn't been doing goalkeeper level 1, I would have been in a dress today. I've coached in a variety of different backgrounds, as you can see, from grassroots academy, and I had a great opportunity to coach abroad in Spain last summer at a football camp. When I was a little girl, that was about as much as I got to play because I was turned away from a lot of teams because I was a girl. So I didn't actually play organised football until I was 30. Felt a decade too late for these legs, but I did it anyway. Did it for a few seasons and then got into coaching. What I realised about all of those environments is that my philosophy pretty much stays the same. I was asked to think about philosophy properly for the first time when I was studying for my UEFA B licence. But what I realised was that actually it's always kind of been in me, because it's part of not just who I am as a coach, but who I am as a person. So it focuses around 3 key principles: engage, educate, and empower. The reason behind that is I feel like football coaching is teaching, and if I'm going to teach you, I need to reach you first. And for me, I need to do that in a way that is meaningful to you, makes you feel safe and secure, but also a bit special. So I start to engage individuals, units, teams, everyone there, and then I can start to teach you. Because I've engaged you and got to know you, I can start to think about how you learn and what you need in order to learn. What is the information you need, and what's the best way for me to deliver it to you personally. And then the final one, empower. This is a big one for me because I feel like coaching really empowers me. So empowering others, so be that individuals, the whole team, the club, also really empowers me as a coach. So, getting into the main bit of my talk around how do we create those inclusive environments but also keep them competitive. For me, the real question there is around how do I create an environment that someone wants to play in but also feel safe in at the same time? So what I'm going to talk about, obviously because of the nature of this talk, the focus is going to be on girls, but I genuinely believe that a lot of this is transferable if you're coaching males as well. So obviously, freedom to fail, for me, that is an integral part of learning. Like, if we get something right 100% the first time, what have we actually learned? So for me, it's about creating a safe environment where, whether I'm coaching a 7-year-old or a 57-year-old in walking football, they feel like they're able to make a mistake, and that's not going to be a massive problem. I read this really interesting thing about comfort zones recently, where it said that obviously we have our little comfort zone here and we all like to stay under our duvet in it, but we're really going to achieve things just outside of it. But that just outside of it is key, because if we're forced way, way, way outside of it, then actually the ability to learn kind of shrinks, because all we're doing is focusing our energy on how to survive. So comfort zones are key. How can we create that environment where we can try, fail, and then try again? So linked to how we keep it inclusive but also safe, for me it's linked back to that first part of my philosophy on how I engage. So not wanting to sound like a weirdo, but I smile. I try to smile a lot, not to creep people out, but just to welcome them in, because I think it makes a big difference, especially if you're turning up as a 7-year-old girl and you've never kicked a ball before and you're a bit like, what? I don't know anyone, it's horrible and scary. It's really important to just smile. We're all human beings, it's okay to smile, unless you're on the tube. Never smile at anyone on the tube, ever. And also for me, it's around language. So I have a no sorries policy in my sessions. Unless you've fly kicked someone to the face, then you should probably say sorry. But if you've misplaced a pass, I don't really, all of women's football is sorry. No, let's stop apologising. So what I do when there's a sorry is I get the player to think about what went wrong there and how we're going to correct it. If they need technical detail on how to correct it, that's where I come in, that's fine. But I try and get rid of this constant sorry, unless you've hurt someone. Then we look at meaningful development. So for me, this focuses around the question, why? Why are we doing this? So whether I'm planning a session, whether I'm delivering a session, whether I'm observing, I'm constantly asking myself, why? That allows me to drill into the detail of the practice. The answer to the why has to link to the player. If it's about me, it's the wrong practice. This practice isn't about me, it's about them learning. So when I ask myself why, I'm making sure that actually we're doing this practice because my players need to do this practice, not because I've seen this amazing video on YouTube from Barcelona under-12s, and I'm like, yeah, we're definitely going to do this because I want to do this. No, that's not the practice for them. I don't coach Barcelona under-12s. So, and then last but definitely not least is play like a girl. So there's this kind of myth that like girls' football is like, and like rainbows and unicorns and fairy dust. Some of it is, and that's great. And like Steve said earlier, like that social engagement is massive in girls and women's football. I want to keep that, that's fine. But I also need competition because females actually thrive in a competitive environment as long as they don't feel like they're being unfairly judged or criticised. So for me, it's definitely increase that competition in a safe way and watch them flourish and thrive. I feel like as women, we've constantly got to think about lots of things like body shape. Is everything jiggling in a way that it should be? Am I sweating? Is it awful? Is it disgusting? Periods. I'm on my period. Oh my God, how's this going to affect me? Adult women being like, oh God, I'm too old to do this. This couldn't possibly be for me. We live in a comparison culture where everyone's like Instagramming everything and everyone's living their best life and we think our lives are awful. It's not true. So kind of to finish on, I'm going to put some questions up for you to think about and then maybe you can throw them back at me at the end. But just to kind of finish, I wanted to say, particularly for any females in the room, don't apologise, take up space, be competitive and enjoy yourselves. Thank you.